Hey everyone, this is Mike at Play Favorites, a friendly neighborhood toy store located in beautiful Front Royal, Virginia. And today my goal in life is to teach you how to play and tell you all about one of my absolute favorite games ever. That game is Concept. This is one of the only games which I am always up for playing. It's irresistible to me, and I am a little bit addicted to it once I sit down and start playing. Okay, here's how you play Concept. Let's start with what comes in the box. The crux of the game is this great big board. On this great big board, you will see little icons, little pictures representing all different types of concepts. So you'll have one for male, one for female, for different professions, for politics, for religion. You'll have colors, you'll have shapes, you'll have animals, you'll have titles, you'll have food, you'll have clothing, you'll have body parts, different materials, different weather conditions, so on and so forth. Alrighty, and just in case all of that's a little too much to keep in your head, you get this handy dandy double-sided sheet which tells you what all of those symbols mean, but don't get too concrete with that because a large part of the game is being creative in using these symbols to tell players certain things. We'll get to that in just a moment. You also receive in the box one plastic green question mark, as well as 4 exclamation points. A black one, a blue one, a red one, and a yellow one. And you get a whole bunch of cubes in corresponding colors. We'll pick that fallen cube up in just a moment. You also get a deck of cards. Each card looks something like this. You've got 6 words on each card. The top are supposed to be easy to tell the other players. Then you have the middle ones, which are medium. And you also have the ones on the bottom, which are hard. So on this card, the easy words are lock, duck, and magnifying glass. The medium words are Dalai Lama, billiards, and lassie. The hard words are curled up in a ball, raging fever, and Tower of Babel. On a player's turn, they're going to draw one of these cards. And using these tokens and these cubes and this board, they're going to try to communicate to the other players one of the things on this card. All right, I'm going to try to do that with you right now. You're also allowed to use the word yes. You cannot use the word no, but you can use the word yes. Hey everyone, I'll be right with you.
Hi, we're just looking around.
Alrighty. So, the first thing that token that you're going to place on the board every round is the green question mark. The green question mark represents the main concept which you are trying to communicate to the other players. So I'm going to take this green question mark and put it down over here on the animals picture. So you know I'm probably trying to tell you about an animal. I'm going to take a green cube. Now I'm basically in the same sentence still. When you want to start a new sentence, you will use a new color, but I'm telling you about an animal. I'm going to take another green cube and put it right over there on the square that represents books or literature. So chances are this is either a book about an animal who's in a book, or an animal who wrote a book. All right, I'm going to take another green cube and put it down on the square on the board that represents fiction. So maybe the book is fictional, maybe it is a work of fiction, or the animal in the book is a fictional animal. So we have an animal in a book and fiction. Okay, now we're going to start a new sentence about this animal. Let's see. We're going to take this yellow exclamation point and put it down on the cube on the square that represents food. I'm going to take a yellow cube because we're still talking about that food, so we're using the same color, yellow. I'm going to put it down on the heart square, which might represent loves. So the food that the animal loves is, and I'm going to put another yellow cube down on the color yellow. So we know the food that the animal loves is yellow. Let me tell you a little more about this animal. I'll tell you about the clothing that this animal wears. So I'm going to take this red exclamation point, put it down on the square that represents clothing, take a red cube and put it down on the square that represents a torso. So clothing and torso, combine them, we're probably talking about a shirt. So now we know that this animal probably wears a red shirt. If you still haven't guessed who this animal that is in a book of fiction and loves a certain yellow food and wears a red shirt is, I'll tell you a little more about this animal. I'm going to put this green exclamation point down on the square that represents a house or a place where one lives. So we'll say his home, or the animal's home, is, and I'm going to take a green cube and put it down on the square with a piece of wood next to it. Now, if the animal just lived in a piece of wood, that would suffice. But I want to tell you a little more about this animal. So I'm going to take a lot of more about the place where the animal lives. I'll take a lot of blue cubes and put them all down on the wood square, which might mean that the animal lives in the woods, in a forest. Okay, so we have an animal in a book of fiction that loves a yellow food, that wears a yellow shirt, and that lives in the woods. Can you figure out what animal this is? The answer is Winnie the Pooh. And that is a very, very basic idea of how to communicate using the concept board and the concept tokens. This game is so much fun. Whether you are giving players clues and trying to get them to guess titles, words, characters, phrases, objects, whatever, using the deck of cards, or just coming up with whatever you want out of your own head, it is so satisfying to give clues that people guess, and it is also really satisfying to be on the other side and actually guess and figure out and puzzle out what the clue giver is trying to communicate with you. What I like to say is that concept is like frisbee. It's just as satisfying to give a perfect throw as it is. Sorry, we have to stop the video for a second. This is Concept. I hope it's obvious from the enthusiasm that I am exuberating in this video that I am really enthusiastic about this game. I like it a lot. Come to Play Favorites anytime. I'd be happy to play around with you. This is Mike at Play Favorites. Thank you very much for watching and have a wonderful day. Toodles.